Going over some testosterone hacks that are cheap that you can follow. If you're bodybuilding on a budget and you're fearing that your testosterone levels are low, maybe your libido's getting a little jacked up, you're not waking up with a stiffy anymore, you could probably give these things a shot and they'll probably help you, and there's no reason to not try these. These are all going to be cheap. If you're trying to help with your testosterone levels, I'm assuming that you're into bodybuilding as well, so these will also go with your diet routine as well that you're doing. It'll help keep you locked in, really. So not only are we helping with our libido, we're also helping with our muscle gains and all this other good stuff and our energy levels when we're doing things to help with our testosterone, right? It'll make you stronger, less injuries. Garlic and vitamin C. You want to make sure you combine these two things somehow in the same meal. I'll get into the meal in just a second, but I want to explain why it's important to be mixing in garlic and vitamin C. I have personally found this study by myself that I want to talk about. If you mix 2.5 grams of garlic and 2 grams of vitamin C together, it will raise your nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide doesn't directly support testosterone, however, there's still a trend here. Nitric oxide indirectly supports testosterone by suggesting that healthy vascular function and nitric oxide bioavailability are important for maintaining testosterone levels, right? I'm not an expert, this is just what I found because I had low testosterone for a while. And I got my levels up when I tried to raise up my nitric oxide. So this is something that's helped me personally, which I have proof of. So what I personally do for my garlic and vitamin C combination is I'll just have ground beef and I'll put 2.5 grams of garlic because that's what it says in the study. I'll do 2.5 grams of garlic and then I'll just have a shitload of orange juice with it. You can even throw in a vitamin C supplement when you do that. Or you can just take the vitamin C supplement anytime throughout the day, really. I would just mess around with it though. Try it in the morning. Like if you take all your supplements in the morning, then you can throw in a vitamin C supplement as well. Or you can do it all in the morning. You can have eggs with 2.5 grams of garlic. Just mess around with however you want to do it. I'm not saying one specific thing is going to directly help you, so you got to mess around and figure it out yourself. Next, I've never talked about this one before. This is going to be a really interesting subject, so let's get right into it. You want to have good gut health. And you got healthy bacteria in your gut, you're going to be releasing hormones like luteinizing hormone, which is going to stimulate testosterone production in your testes. Thumbs up to that. That's really good. That's what you want. Now, what do I mean by a healthy gut, right? Just for the most part, everybody probably thinks they got a healthy gut, but in reality, they don't. I'm going to explain why right now. Because you got to think, your body really isn't necessarily supposed to be farting all the time, right? Those protein farts, you're not supposed to be getting those. Like, yeah, you're farting, your stomach's working, but it's not working in the way that it's supposed to be working. Your body's trying to get rid of something. Your body's trying to get all the excess protein that you're eating, right? If you're eating more than 50 grams of protein, then you're just going to start having the protein farts. And here's another interesting one that I never talked about, and I just realized I was making this mistake for a very long time, is leaving meal preps in the fridge for a little bit too long. You gotta leave your meal preps in the fridge for at most 4 days. And sometimes I would cheat that. And I would leave it in for 5 days in the fridge because it smelled fine, you know? And it tasted fine too. It still had the taste and it still had the smell, so I would still eat it anyways. But that was a huge mistake, and that actually held me back a lot of gains that I made in the past. And I don't think I've ever heard that online from anywhere. Online. This is not just trendy information. This is literally my experience. I've never heard or seen anything like that happen before, but my gains are slowly starting to skyrocket again. I was at a plateau for the longest time, but now that I'm eating foods in the fridge and I'm dating my meals and I'm not eating my meals if it's in the fridge for longer than 4 days, I've been seeing growth. And that could be a mistake that you're making that you don't even realize. Ever since I started working on my gut health. And like another thing too, this is an educational video, it's gonna get a little TMI here, but floating poop. If your poop is floating in the toilet, that's telling you something that's not supposed to be happening. Your poop's supposed to not float, which could be caused by malabsorption or just like excess gas, like, right? If you're, like, back to the protein thing, if you're eating a ton of protein, you're getting the protein farts, then your poop's probably gonna float too. But it's not always that. You could be perfectly fine. You're not farting your brains out 24/7, but then your poop's still floating, right? That's still something that you'd want to consider. And then another thing is just like stomach noises and stuff. That's a really big indicator. Like if you can just like feel your organs like gurgling, like your intestines, you can just feel them gurgling. That's not good, man. figure it out. Figure out what the problem is. Sometimes you could just get a scoop of saturated fats, like of coconut oil, and that could help. But yeah, just keep a close eye out for poor gut health. Honestly, that would probably be the first thing I would do if I were you, if you're worried about your testosterone, is focusing on your gut health. This one's cheap because you're literally just messing around with your diet. You're just buying cheap foods here and there, and you're just messing around with anything that can fit in your budget. Really just messing around with your macros. Like right now I'm running 60% carbs, 25% fats, and 15% protein or something like that. I know, I'll have to go on my Chronometer app and then figure it all out. And then just tracking in general. Just track everything that you're eating. If you go out, if you go decide to have a cheat meal, if you go to Speedway, you go get a donut from Speedway, right? Make sure you write that down, the date, the time, how was your stomach after you ate it, was there any adverse effects? And then the last one, I've talked about this a lot, but I'm going to say it again because it's really important, is vitamin D3. It's one of the more common vitamin deficiencies. That's why I just keep preaching it. Vitamin D, get those levels up. You can always get a blood test and it can tell you how much vitamin D you got in your system. If it's during the wintertime, if you got all 4 seasons in the year and you're going through a wintertime, your vitamin D levels are going to be a lot lower. But if you're in the summertime and you can get out in the sun, then they're going to be a lot higher. So with that being said, you can get a higher dose of vitamin D supplements during the wintertime, and then you can do like a smaller dose during the summer, and then you can be out in the sun a lot. And that's what makes that one so cheap. You're only really buying it during the wintertime, and then during the summer you're just kind of buying it here and there, and I'll take a vitamin D pill today because why not? You don't gotta take it every day though, you know what I mean? The wintertime, that's definitely the time where you'll be dropping bank on some vitamin D pills. But they're really not that expensive anyways. Just get a bottle of it. Cancel a Netflix subscription if you really have to. Go outside. I don't care if you want to play video games. Take those video games right outside. You probably got them plugged somewhere outside. You can just set up your whole system outside and be playing outside on the computer like this. Oh, I'm getting my vitamin D. Oh. This study looked at whether taking vitamin D supplements could increase testosterone levels in overweight men. It involved 200 non-diabetic men, with only like 54 completing the trial. Those who took vitamin D showed an increase in testosterone levels over a year. They were taking 3,300 IUs daily. I don't know why that's an exact number. The guys that took a placebo obviously didn't see any change. The results suggest that vitamin D might help boost your testosterone, but there's going to be more studies that are needed to confirm this. I'm a walking study. I took the vitamin D pills and my testosterone levels went up. I remember I mega dosed on vitamin D. I took like 10,000 IUs, and then I also threw in some K2, and my testosterone levels went up when I did that. But I need to do more research into that. I wouldn't just jump over to 10,000 IUs. If you are going to do a higher dose of D3, I would throw in some K2 into it, but for the most part I don't think it's necessary to be blasting vitamin D like that.